Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Classified Captures. Steve here, and today I've got a collection of clips ranging from cryptid sightings to glitches in our matrix that may just leave you shocked yet craving more. So let's jump in. We start off today's episode with a creepy one even by our standards. Do not just take our word for it, watch the clip. The clip starts off with what looks like an investigation of an undisclosed area. After a few seconds of filming, the individual points the camera in the direction of what appears to be a floor lower than where the individual filming was. At first, we're not sure why he's focusing there. But after a few seconds, it becomes evident there's something down there. Now, we're not sure exactly what it is, but it appears to be humanoid, although not exactly human. It moves in an unnatural way and appears to not be happy with the fact that it's been discovered. Whoever is filming appears to be certainly brave, as he doesn't retreat after seeing the creature like most would. Instead, he keeps on filming. Zooming into the creature, some members of my team think it might be a rake, whereas others think it might be a creature from another plane of existence or something otherworldly. Julius, well, we all know what Julius thinks. Personally, I'm not entirely sure what we're dealing with here. The individual filming alternates between green and normal light, which is a sign that he knows what he's doing. For those who don't know, green is chosen in circumstances like this because the human eye is most sensitive to green light. Green lights can provide greater detail and clarity, helping users see more effectively in low-light conditions. Green is also used because it offers a good balance between contrast and brightness, which improves the user's ability to differentiate objects and depth in a low-light or no-light environment. So yeah, he knows what he's doing. Anyway, back to the clip. What do you guys think? What could we be dealing with here?
Is this, son? Like, what? I'm scared to put my phone close to that shit.
While you share your thoughts on that, you should be preparing to do the same with this one too. The individual recording was casually taking a stroll at an undisclosed location when he came across this on the ground. At first, you'd think it's a hole in the ground with something golden lying in it. A few seconds into the clip, and you realize that's not the case at all. The golden bits are actually in motion somehow. It's therefore no surprise that the individual recording exclaims in shock when he gets closer. After recording this, he uploaded it online seeking answers because, well, you get the answer to everything on the internet. It turns out that his case would become one of the few times no one knew anything because everyone was divided. Some thought it was alien, while few others thought it was a portal. There were some who even suggested AI or digital manipulation. You've seen the clip for yourself, so what do you think we're dealing with here?
The is this, son? Like, what? I'm scared to put my phone close to that shit.
Next up, we've got this clip from an elderly lady known as Vicky. Enjoy.
It's back. It keeps peeking in here on me. Oh my goodness gracious, what the hell? Ain't nobody in the other room.
The clip starts off with a camera pointed at the door. While the door certainly does look interesting with its everyday design and paint job, that's not where we're supposed to be focusing on. If we look beyond the door and the curtain behind, you'll notice that there is a face. Seen it? Now, does that look like anything you've seen? No? Well, for Becky, this isn't the first time that she's seen it. The door allegedly leads to an empty room with no pets or kids, and that's why she's freaking out. In the clip, she can be heard saying her gun is not with her, which points to the fact that she feels threatened and unsafe, necessitating the need to have a gun as an assurance or a means of self-defense. Naturally, this clip sparked a lot of controversy online, with different individuals sharing their opinions. Some thought it was a ghost, whereas others subscribed to the possibility of it being a mountain lion. Personally, I don't see a mountain lion, but then again, I can't really make out anything in the clip. What about you guys? What do you see?
It's back. It keeps peeking in here on me. Oh my goodness gracious, what the hell? Ain't nobody in the other room.
While you share your thoughts on that one, we travel back in time to Northern California on New Year's Day 2020, where this unusual photo was taken. Imagine you're hiking through the remote, towering peaks of Northern California on New Year's Day 2020. The air is crisp, the sky expansive, and the isolation of the trail is almost palpable. Then, out of the corner of your eye, you catch sight of something strange. A tall, dark figure looming just over the ridgeline. That's exactly what happened to the lady who captured and shared this image online. Naturally, this has stirred up quite the debate online, with everyone chipping in their thoughts and feelings. Some in the community analyzed the image and were struck by the size of the figure. By comparing its height to the surrounding geography, they estimated it to be around 7 to 8 feet tall, which makes it a massive creature by any standard. Zooming in makes the image even more interesting. The figure appears to have distinct facial features, including a conical head, which is a characteristic often associated with Sasquatch sightings. Some skeptics suggest it could just be a black bear, with its posture and movement distorted by the camera angle. But the silhouette, when scrutinized, seems to align more with the descriptions of a Sasquatch than a bear. Aaron believes it's more Sasquatch than bear, whereas Julius thinks there's not much to go on with, considering the quality of the image. Naturally, other team members who were also big fat enthusiasts felt this is a good capture of the big guy. I would sit on the fence for this one, but I've laid out the facts and I'm curious to know what you think. Care to share in the comments section. Next up, we've got this clip recorded by 3 hikers who ventured deep into the heart of an untouched forest. In the distance, something strange caught their attention. They could see massive trees swaying, but not with the wind. The trees appeared as though they were moving on their own. At first, it seemed like an illusion, a fleeting trick of the mind amidst the dense wilderness. But as they zoomed in with their camera, reality struck, and their hearts sank. There, among the trees, stood an enormous humanoid figure, effortlessly lifting the massive pines from the ground as if they were mere twigs. It moved silently, carrying them away like toys in its gigantic hands, its presence both terrifying and surreal. It all happened so fast, but it was unmistakable, and the hikers stood paralyzed in place. This was the area people spoke of in hushed tones, notorious for Yeti sightings, but no story, no rumor had ever prepared them for this. Something far larger and far more powerful was out there, and it was moving, watching, waiting. The question is, what would you have done at that moment? Could this truly be a Yeti, or is it something even more chilling? Let us know what you think.
What is this?
While you share your thoughts on that, allow me to ask, have you seen any of the Star Wars films? If you have, do you recognize this? Aaron found this clip online that was allegedly recorded on this planet at an undisclosed location. Looking at the clip, it looks like a desert, a dry area with a few settlements scattered around. On second thought, it does look like a well-planned city. Moving on from that, the star of today's show is the ship flying around. The ship does look alien, and the individual filming is repeatedly heard exclaiming in awe, probably because it's unlike anything she's seen. She uploads it, hoping to find out what it is, and many who saw the clip were rather upset and offended. A few thought it looked cool and futuristic, probably alien. Others felt the person was attempting to insult their intelligence, as this looks very similar to the Millennium Falcon from the Star Wars franchise. If you've watched it, then you certainly recognized it without me having to say anything. But what do you think? Is this really a true capture of an alien ship that looks like the Millennium Falcon somewhere on Earth, or is it someone trying to mislead us for their 5 minutes of fame? Share your thoughts in the comments section.
Bro, what is this?
What would you do if you saw a strange being pacing up and down on your property not too far from you every day for hours? Before you answer, let's watch this clip together.
This is the church that's directly across the street from my house that I was explaining. This is the area where we see that figure. It just walks back and forth every day, all day. Now, I've been over there a couple of times as I walk up on it.
Did you catch that? I mean, do you see the dark person out there pacing to and fro? Good. The individual recorded was recording because this particular person had been doing that for hours and sometimes days. Concerned, she went to investigate, and when she got there, the person was not there. It's almost as though he or she disappeared into thin air. After going through the experience a couple of times, the lady concluded that it had to be a shadow being or a person. There's a church not too far from the location, and she suspects that it might have something to do with the whole ordeal. After investigating multiple times, different individuals had different opinions. Some advised her to stay away from the location as it could be demonic. Others told her she didn't need to understand everything, as there are things that one can't understand. One person suggested that she get someone to film her as she approached to see if they could tell where it went. One person even teased that she needed a Samsung S24 Ultra, which, if you ask me, all who capture phenomena like this need. Someone ought to get in touch with the marketing division of Samsung. Just in case there's a Samsung executive watching this, well, please consider it. Imagine the first convincing Bigfoot or UFO clip coming from the Samsung S24 Ultra. Well, that's a win in the marketing department right there. Think about it. And if you want to pursue it, you know where to find us. We'll help you out. Moving on, we visit Venezuela for our next clip. Just in case it was not clear already, what you were seeing is a bird sitting on a power line. This was allegedly recorded by a lady who looked out of her window and saw the unusual-looking bird right outside her home. The low quality of the footage, coupled with the white look, gives the bird a pre-rendered look, which is basically what 3D objects look like digitally before they're worked on and perfected. She believes it's either a bruja or brujo. For those not familiar with the term, a bruja, which is female, or brujo, which is male, is a Spanish term for a witch or sorcerer, traditionally found in Latin America and Spanish cultures. These figures are believed to possess supernatural powers, often associated with magic, healing, or spiritual practices. Once she uploaded the clip, opinions were divided. Some shared similar experiences, whereas others called her out for attempting to deceive them. I have my own reservations about this, but I would love to hear your opinions. What do you think is going on here? After sharing your thoughts on that, you might want to take a look at this one too. This was uploaded by a homeowner who was reviewing her security cam footage after a large shadow passed by her home. Initially, she thought she was seeing things, so she rushed to her cam to review, and there it was in the recording. But what exactly was she looking at? She claims no large bird or plane had flown by, yet the shadow was pronounced. She suggested it might be a shadow creature, and some in the community agreed with her. Some were, however, skeptical. They felt the clip might have been digitally manipulated. Given the rise in AI and other digital tools, you can't really blame them for thinking so. But you've seen the clip as well. What do you think we're dealing with here?
Oh, blessed Jesus, look at that. How many?
The skepticism doesn't get better with our next clip, though. You know what? Take a look for yourself. You understand now, right? The clip starts off showing us the sun, and a few seconds in, we notice that there's a man behind it. The individuals in the clip are heard saying that God is good, attributing the sighting to an angel or representative of God. A number of religious folks who saw this believed it was the real deal, whereas non-religious folks stated that this had to be fake. Others argued that this had to be Project Bluebeam in play and that the government was still testing things out and playing with the minds of citizens. There were other theories which included this being a hologram. In the midst of all these theories, I saw a comment that caught my attention. Despite everyone's attempt to be logical, I know that deep down most individuals wished all of these things were truly real. What do you think, though? Could this be the real deal or just another digital manipulation?
Oh, blessed Jesus, look at that. How many?
We hear a lot of conspiracies surrounding ancient technology, with many speculating that advanced tech existed centuries ago. Over time, several artifacts have surfaced that seem to support these claims. One of the more mysterious discoveries happened years ago in Mexico when deep-sea researchers stumbled upon something truly extraordinary. While exploring an underwater cave system in the ocean, they came across a massive cave with hundreds of openings. Inside one of these caves, they discovered a human skull. Curious, they retrieved the skull and handed it over to experts for examination. The experts expected many things, but finding a microchip embedded in something that ancient was not one of them. Although this discovery wasn't elaborated on further, many believe that the chip is evidence of some kind of advanced technology that was possibly used by people in the distant past. Could this be proof that ancient civilizations were far more advanced than we've ever imagined? A chunk of the internet believes so. Others also think such beliefs are ludicrous, to say the least. What do you think? A man driving through Florida witnessed something strange in the sky. Hidden behind the clouds was a large shadow that moved swiftly in a way that resembled the wings of a massive bird. It was fast, so fast that you could easily miss it if you weren't paying close attention. Now, this doesn't seem like a typical UFO sighting. Instead, it appears to be something far more mysterious. The shadow passed several times, hinting that something enormous could have been lurking behind the clouds. Could this have been some gigantic creature or a natural phenomena playing tricks on the eye? Some connect it to a legend of massive birds or cryptids, while others think it's just an illusion caused by the light and clouds. What say you?
What the hell was that?
Speaking of giant birds, take a look at this footage captured by a woman hiking in New Jersey. She recorded the clip after coming across some unusual prints on the ground.
They're bigger than my foot. Here's another one. I'm a size 10.
These bird-like footprints were massive and about the size of her own size 10 feet. That's way too large for any regular bird you'd expect to find in the area. Given the odd nature of the discovery, she naturally uploaded online, which sparked a debate. Some speculated that it could be the mark of a dinosaur-like creature, hinting at something prehistoric still roaming the earth. While that sounds intriguing, many were of the view that it was not possible given the fact that dinosaurs have been, well, extinct. Some also recounted that there have been legends of giant birds like the thunderbirds in Native American lore, which are said to have enormous wingspans and leave prints that could match this description. Not sure which sounds more believable, dinosaurs or thunderbirds, but what are your thoughts?
They're bigger than my foot. Here's another one. I'm a size 10.
In this clip from Mexico, security cameras captured something unusual moving across the night sky. Take a look. Notice the glowing rectangular-shaped object, leaving a luminous trail as it zips through the air. It's definitely strange, and it has left many puzzled. Some speculate it could be alien technology, while others suggest it might be an entity rather than a man-made craft. While these theories are understandable, this sighting stands out from typical UFO encounters. Unlike the familiar disc-shaped objects, this one is rectangular, so could it be a man-made craft like a rocket launch? Not quite. The object made a sharp turn mid-flight, something unusual for a rocket, which usually follows a straight trajectory. If it's not a rocket or any conventional aircraft, what could this glowing object be? Share your thoughts. Trail cameras have become a crucial tool in capturing rare glimpses of cryptids, those elusive, often mysterious creatures that roam the wild. In this particular footage, we see something truly eerie. In the dead of night, a large figure emerges from behind the trees and moves slowly across the scene. While it's hard to make out clear details due to the distance, the creature appears to be much taller than the trees nearby, giving it a towering, almost shadowy presence. What stands out is its slow, deliberate movement and the fact that it's walking on two legs. The way it glides through the darkness, barely making a sound, adds to its unsettling nature. The footage doesn't provide a clear enough view to identify it, but its size and the bipedal motion suggest it could be more than just an animal, perhaps a cryptid yet to be documented. Julius thinks it's AI, but what do you also think? In Antigua, Guatemala, a home security camera captured something truly bizarre during a heavy rainstorm. The camera, angled upward, caught a sky filled with lightning, except this lightning wasn't behaving as you'd expect. Instead of striking downward, it seemed to be diverging upward, almost as if it were originating from a single point below and then spreading out into the sky. It's a strange and unsettling sight, but the unusual phenomenon doesn't end there. Among the bolts of lightning, 2 glowing orbs appeared, hovering and moving between the flashes. These orbs are often associated with extraterrestrial sightings, raising an intriguing question. Were these orbs somehow linked to the unusual lightning? Could this be evidence of some kind of extraterrestrial activity, or perhaps some advanced technology manipulating natural forces? What do you think? Could these orbs have something to do with the strange lightning display, or is it a natural phenomenon we've yet to fully understand? A group of women were on a boat ride across a lake when they noticed something strange emerging from the water. What they saw was the mouth and small part of the head of a very dark black-looking creature. The creature lingered just above the water's surface, but the rest of its body remained submerged. From what they could see, it was extremely long, like a massive snake or serpent. While some people speculated that it might have been a large pike, Aaron suggested it could be something more unusual, perhaps a water monster, maybe even a gigantic serpent or something similar to the Loch Ness Monster. What do you think? Could this be an enormous fish, or does it point to something more mysterious lurking beneath the surface? They say that when people pass away unexpectedly, their spirits linger around the people and places they cherished, trying to say one final goodbye. I wasn't sure how true this was until I came across this footage and heard the story behind it. What you're seeing is a welder working alone in a shop when all of a sudden he starts interacting with something unseen behind him. He was by himself, yet it looked like he was talking to thin air. A security guard watching this on the monitors called the man, asking who he was speaking to, and the welder replied that it was one of his co-workers. When the guard showed him the footage, the welder was in shock. They decided to call and check on the co-worker, and to their horror, they found out that he'd passed away earlier that day. It seems he came back to say goodbye. This encounter is truly chilling and raises so many questions about what happens after death. Have you ever experienced something like this? Share your thoughts in the comments section. A man had set up a trail camera deep in the woods, hoping to catch something interesting on film. And he did. Take a look for yourself. At first glance, it does look like a face partially hidden, with distinct facial features lurking in the shadows of the tree. But upon closer inspection, I'm not entirely convinced it's a Bigfoot. Yes, there are the typical traits associated with Bigfoot sightings, like a large, shadowy figure and a face that seems somewhat human yet beastly. But something about it feels off. The proportions and clarity of the face might point to a different cryptid or even a misinterpretation of shadows or natural elements in the woods. What if it's not Bigfoot, but another elusive creature we haven't fully identified yet? This massive 1,000-pound octopus allegedly washed up on the shore, and while there isn't much context to the footage, you can see people moving around the enormous creature, seemingly unsure of what to do with it. They might be contemplating whether to push it back into the ocean or transport it elsewhere, but the sheer size of the octopus is striking. It's hard to say if the footage is legitimate or AI-generated because the creature does look real. The texture of the skin, the way the tentacles lay on the ground, and the surrounding environment don't immediately suggest anything fake. However, with advancements in technology, especially AI-generated content, it can be tricky to distinguish between the two sometimes. If it's real, this is a rare and astounding find. A creature of that size would certainly draw attention, but it also raises questions. How did it end up ashore? What conditions led to this happening? Could it have been sick, or is this part of some larger environmental change? What do you think? Legit footage or a clever digital creation? I've spoken about petrification quite a few times, and here's yet another instance that adds to the mystery. There are various stone structures around the world that eerily resemble living creatures, almost as if they were once alive and turned to stone. This time, a driver was passing by some mountains when he noticed something odd. A stone figure attached to the mountainside. It wasn't just any rock formation, though. It looked like a person sitting on the ground, legs stretched out, body hunched, and completely made of stone. Throughout history, petrification has been a topic of fascination. Some cultures even believed that giants and other beings were transformed into stone by natural forces or supernatural processes. While geologists might explain such formations as the result of wind and water erosion, it's hard not to wonder when you come across a figure like this with such human-like appearances. Could this be an example of petrification? Perhaps even a giant that was somehow turned to stone long ago.
And here's the screenshot. It's bright enough, I'm sure you'll see it, but I guess I'll probably load it up, I don't know, whatever. There's the screenshot of the video. And here's the zoom in of what he caught in my video. I don't know.
A man on hunting managed to capture footage of a huge creature moving among the trees in the woods. The creature stood upright, walking on two legs, with a height estimated to be around 8 feet or more, covered in dark fur, matching the typical description of Bigfoot. Sightings like this continue to fuel the ongoing debate about Bigfoot's existence. Some believe this footage could be definitive proof of the elusive creature, while others remain skeptical, questioning if it could be a bear, a man in a suit, or even a trick of the camera. What's particularly striking in this footage is the creature's height and its bipedal movement. The dark fur and towering frame certainly fit the Bigfoot legend, but the question remains, is this another compelling sighting of the mythical creature or just another case of mistaken identity? Japan is known for some of the most chilling and haunting urban legends, and this story is no exception. A group of young Japanese students found themselves caught in an eerie situation when they ventured into a restroom. As they explored the stalls, strange noises began to echo from one of them, sending chills down their spines. One of the students, filled with curiosity but clearly scared, decided to stand on the toilet in the adjacent stall to peek into the one that was causing all the unease. What happened next made them all scream and flee, but the camera kept rolling. After gathering their courage, they decided to open the mysterious stall. The girl, holding the camera, cautiously approached, pointing the lens inside. At first it seemed empty, but then as the camera panned back, there it was. A pale-faced girl lurking in the corner of the stall, her presence so sudden and unnerving that it sent the students running for their lives. Who could this girl have been? Could it be one of Japan's many ghostly legends, like Hanako-san, the spirit of a young girl rumored to haunt school bathrooms? Or was this some real-life person caught on camera?
When my firework went up in the sky, this is what I seen.
Did you catch that? No? Well, watch it again. Tell me you saw the face the moment the firework went off. That's definitely not normal and has since caused this clip to go viral. The one who originally recorded this felt he was seeing things, so he uploaded it onto one of our paranormal platforms, soliciting views and opinions from the members of the platform. Many who saw the clip believed that this could be evidence that the gods are up there watching down on us even if we don't see it. There were some who thought that the explanation made no sense and that this had to be a case of pareidolia. For those unfamiliar with the term, pareidolia is a psychological phenomenon where people perceive familiar patterns such as faces, animals, or objects in random or unrelated stimuli. It's a tendency for the brain to interpret vague or abstract forms as recognizable shapes. For example, seeing a face in the clouds, a human figure in a rock formation, or a shape resembling an animal in tree bark are all instances of pareidolia. This occurs because the human brain is wired to identify patterns for survival, especially faces, making it common and natural cognitive response. I also believe that's what could be going on here. But perhaps that's just me. And what do you guys think?
When my firework went up in the sky, this is what I seen.
Next, we got a man who was out in the woods filming what seemed to be a survival series. It was close to sundown, and as darkness started to settle in, he was preparing for the night ahead. But then, out of nowhere, he heard something, a man screaming. He followed the sound, cautiously making his way through the trees, and then he saw it. In the open field, there was a silhouette of a man standing completely still, stiff as a statue. The figure wasn't moving, but it was yelling for help over and over again, with no visible signs of injury or distress. The man filming was frozen with fear, unsure of what to do next. Should he approach the person and risk being in a trap, or should he stay put and retreat? There are countless stories of creatures like skinwalkers, mythical beings that can mimic human voices to lure people in. These creatures are said to imitate cries for help, drawing unsuspecting victims close enough to capture them. On the other hand, we can't ignore the possibility that dangerous individuals could use this same tactic to bait victims in isolated places. In such a situation, I'm not sure what I'd do either. The lack of movement from a figure, despite the cries for help, would definitely set off alarm bells. Would you risk going closer, or would you trust your instincts and stay far away from whatever or whoever was making that sound? Believe it or not, that's a real place, and that image is not AI generated. This was captured in Holsos. It's a breathtaking environment where the striking contrast of black sand and golden yellow river and vibrant green landscape come together in harmony. The black sand, formed from ancient volcanic activity, blankets parts of the terrain, creating an otherworldly feel that captivates any observer. Nearby, the Yellow River winds its way through the landscape. Its color is a result of sediment deposit that give it a golden hue. This river serves as a lifeline, bringing nourishment to the surrounding area and carving through the land like a bright ribbon of life amidst the darker, more arid landscape. What makes Holsos truly unique is the lush greenery that thrives along the banks of the Yellow River, creating a vibrant contrast to the surrounding desert. This sudden burst of life, with its rich vegetation and patches of fertile soil, stands in sharp contrast to the black sand and rugged cliffs. Here, native plants grow abundantly, and wildlife flocks to the riverbanks, drawn to the fresh water and shelter provided by the greenery. It's a rare convergence of elemental forces where earth, water, and life meet in a stunning display of nature's resilience. Believe it or not, what you just heard me say was written by Aaron. Quite the poet, wouldn't you agree? I added visiting Holsos to my bucket list. What about you? Now let's go back to all things mysterious and paranormal. This next clip features some boat riders who were out enjoying a day on the Saskatchewan River when they spotted something strange, a scene that left them with more questions than answers. A white seaplane was calmly floating in the water, minding its own business, when suddenly an all-black helicopter appeared. It flew in low, just above the water, and hovered right near the seaplane, almost as if there was some sort of interaction happening. The helicopter eventually made its way to land, touched down, and a man stepped out. Just moments later, the seaplane started to move, floating away from the scene. Now, why would a black helicopter fly so low to the water near a seaplane, and why did the plane leave as soon as the man got out? It feels oddly coordinated, almost secretive. The lack of communication or visible reason for the encounter gives off some seriously sketchy vibes. Could this have been some covert operation, or maybe even an exchange of some kind? It's hard to say, but whatever it was, it seemed off. What do you think was going on here? Have you heard of the Plain of Jars? This mysterious site is located in central Laos, specifically on the Zangang Plateau. Scattered across the landscape are massive stone jars, thousands of them ranging in size, some towering up to 10 feet tall and weighing several tons. Now, what makes these jars so fascinating is that no one really knows why they're there. Some researchers believe they were part of an ancient burial practice, as human remains have been discovered nearby. Others think they could have been used to store food, water, or even alcohol. There's even a local legend that suggests giants created these jars to brew rice wine. Despite numerous studies, the true purpose of these jars remains a mystery. Dating back to the Iron Age, somewhere around 500 BCE to 500 CE, the Plain of Jars continues to baffle both archaeologists and visitors alike. When you're in the process of buying a house or property, it's always a good idea to dig into its history. Some people unknowingly purchase homes with strange pasts, sometimes even haunted ones, and it rarely ends well for them. Take this couple, for example. They just moved into a new home and almost immediately they started experiencing odd things. One night, the wife woke up to the sound of a loud clanking noise. The metal fence outside had somehow opened and the metal gates were banging against each other. Curious and a little freaked out, she decided to go outside and check, but as soon as she stepped out, the noise stopped. What she saw next was even more unsettling. A strange glowing orb was hovering above the metal fence. It wasn't a light from a street lamp or a reflection. This was something else entirely. She hurried back inside to grab a flashlight, but by the time she returned, the orb had vanished. Would you be able to stay in a house with something like that happening? This mysterious footage first surfaced back in 2014, showing satellite imagery of a plane flying high in the sky when something unusual occurred. Out of nowhere, a glowing orb appeared circling around the plane. Then a second orb emerged, followed by a third. The three orbs moved in strange, almost choreographed formations around the plane, creating an eerie and perplexing scene. These objects seemed to be closely followed the aircraft, moving with precision yet in an unpredictable pattern. The clip ends before revealing the orb's true intentions or whether they eventually disappeared. Many who've seen the footage are left wondering, what are these orbs? Were they some kind of advanced technology, natural phenomena, or something more otherworldly? And then there are a few asking the more important questions. Who filmed this? Back in 1997, a man named Mal Waters called into a radio station, Coast to Coast AM, a show known for covering strange and mysterious topics. Mal's story quickly became one of the most talked about topics in paranormal circles. He claimed to have found a mysterious hole on his property in Washington state, which he called Mel's Hole. According to Mel, this hole was no ordinary pit. It seemed to be bottomless. He explained that locals had thrown all kinds of objects into it over the years, including refrigerators and tires, but nothing ever made a sound or seemed to hit the bottom. The strangest part, Mel said that animals refused to go near it, and there were reports that when dead animals were thrown into the hole, they would return to life. Mel's story sparked a lot of curiosity, but the exact location of Mel's hole has never been confirmed. Some people believe it's a hoax, while others think it could be some kind of portal or a government cover-up. The mystery of Mel's hole continues to capture imagination to this day. After many years of calling, some of us deluded, some members of the scientific community have started to take the subject of aliens seriously. Researchers from Harvard recently stated that if aliens exist, then they may already be living among us. Sounds crazy coming from them, but I guess the evidence is becoming hard to deny. The researchers further stated that if there's any truth to the UFO sightings we have been seeing, the logical explanation would be that these aliens are moving around in our atmosphere in stealth mode with the occasional lapse. If you thought aliens were the only thing these researchers spoke about, think again. They also added that there's the possibility of an underground civilization that you and I are not aware of. The funny thing is, we've been speculating and talking about this possibility for years. The big question now is, should the paranormal community consider this a win, or rather, should we be worried and scared that scientists are subtly acknowledging these things? Is that a sign of impending doom? You guys share your thoughts in the comments section. Back in 1971, a group of friends ventured into the Sierra Nevada mountains for a camping trip. While they were out there, they captured some truly eerie sounds that have since become known as the Sierra Sounds or Sierra Tapes. Take a listen.
There's two of them across the creek at the big rocks.
These recordings have fascinated researchers and enthusiasts alike for decades, and many believe they are the legitimate vocalizations of Bigfoot. The sounds are a mix of whoops, growls, and a strange chattering that seems too complex to be from any known animal in the area. Skeptics, of course, argue that the tapes could have been fabricated or may simply be misidentified wildlife, but for those who studied them, the tone, pitch, and patterns of the sound suggest something far more mysterious. Could these really be the elusive Bigfoot trying to communicate? Whoa, talk about an unexpected aerial encounter. So someone's up there soaring in a hang glider over the Texas skies, minding their own business, when they spot a craft in the sky that's neither a plane nor a helicopter. The owner of the footage thinks it's a Metapod UFO. Now, Metapod or not, the big question remains, what in the world could this craft be? Is it a secret government project, an experimental aircraft, or maybe just some intergalactic tourists making a pit stop in Texas? What's your take on this airborne enigma? Alien visitors, a high-tech experiment, or just a really fancy drone with a flair for the dramatic?
That is so creepy.
You've touched upon a fascinating point, one that often leaves us pondering the extent of our knowledge about the planet we call home. This particular video, captured by a resident in Anchorage, Alaska, adds yet another layer to the mystery. The haunting, trumpet-like sounds echoing from the sky as if played by a colossal instrument indeed raise questions. This footage, which surfaced in 2020, is just one of many instances of this strange phenomena plaguing the town for years. But what makes it even more intriguing is that similar sounds have been reported in various parts of the world, often without any clear explanation. The interpretations of these eerie sounds vary widely. Some view them as an ominous sign, perhaps signaling the end of days, while others take a more scientific stance, suggesting the possibility of skyquakes. But even that doesn't fully explain the situation, since skyquakes are unexplained loud booming sounds or noises that are often heard in the sky or from the atmosphere. There are no theories as to how they occur and no true explanations for them. It's a curious enigma, one that reminds us that even in our age of information, there are still mysteries that elude our understanding, leaving us with a sense of wonder and humility in the face of the unknown. Let's shift gears from the bizarre world of The Matrix to another peculiar incident. The footage was shot during a music concert. Initially, everything appears to be going smoothly until, out of nowhere, an unseen force seemed to hit the ground, sending them all tumbling backwards. Multiple people recorded this incident from different angles, and you can observe some kind of energy pushing the audience backwards. The mystery surrounding this event remains unsolved. Some speculate it might be an energy wave, while others offer a more plausible explanation. The tightly packed crowd could have been disrupted when someone in the front row fell, triggering a chain reaction much akin to toppling over dominoes. That's a reasonable theory considering the circumstances, but it might not be the definitive answer. Having seen the footage yourself, what do you believe happened there? Tell us in the comment section. Take a look at this footage that was taken in Ukraine. In it, you can see a house across a green field moving. Did you catch that? A house is moving. Since when do houses move? What if I told you it wasn't a house at all? This, my friends, is an army tank camouflaged as a house. Just imagine being stalked by a house. These guys are certainly taking camouflage to a whole new level, wouldn't you agree? Take a look at this video clip. At first glance, it's just a regular aeroplane making its way across the sky. No big deal, right? But here's where it gets interesting. If you take a closer look in slow motion, there's this mysterious cloaked craft that whooshes by. Even in slow motion, it's moving at a pace that'll make your head spin. Now let's not jump to conclusions and declare it's aliens or anything, but it does make you ponder, doesn't it? There might be some other things up there sharing the vastness of the sky with us. It's like a subtle hint that there's more to our surroundings than meets the eye. What are your thoughts? If you haven't already hit the like button, subscribed, or even dropped a comment so far, could you please do so now? It goes a long way to help us make more of these videos for you. Thank you so much. Now back to today's episode.
Aquí la gente está asustada. Ve, se apagó. Uy, y está sonando. Y eso suena y...
Our next stop takes us to the captivating landscapes of Ecuador, where an unusual incident unfolded. Residents were initially drawn to the scene by a mysterious blinking light in the distance reminiscent of an explosion. Their curiosity led them to a surprising discovery: a peculiar rock. Upon closer examination, the theory emerged that the initial explosion may have been caused by a meteorite impact. The way the residents cautiously handled the rock hinted that it might still be radiating heat from its celestial journey. What makes this event even more intriguing is that some similar explosions and meteorite sightings have been reported in various corners of the globe in recent times. Could it all be a mere coincidence, or are there cosmic forces at play, perhaps even the subtle hand of extraterrestrial visitors? You tell us. Now hold on to your seats, because here's yet another instance of what could be a real-life Matrix glitch. Take a look at this footage.
Plane. Is it moving? It's not moving.
You can distinctly hear the sound of some sort of craft, as if it's cruising along. But guess what? It's frozen in place like it hit an invisible wall or something.
Sounds like it's moving.
I mean, seriously, is this scientifically feasible? Shouldn't the laws of physics have something to say about it, or are we witnessing a slip in the cosmic code that governs our reality? It's a perplexing puzzle, that's for sure. For us, coming across two planes like this is nothing short of a rare occurrence, yet it's a highly welcomed one. Have you had any experiences like this, or even seen footage similar to this one? Please share it.
And we are witnessing that today. The other value of technology, I will point out, was after a round of intense finishing conversations and negotiations over the weekend that started on Saturday morning with the speaker, myself, and the trade rep, Robert Lighthizer.
There are countless videos online showing people wearing hyper-realistic silicone masks, blending in seamlessly and changing their appearance. These masks can be incredibly deceptive, making it difficult to tell if someone is hiding behind one. But there's one thing about them that often gives it away: the facial expressions. The creases on the forehead, the way they smile, it all appears forced and very unnatural. Now let's take a closer look at this next footage. Focus on the woman standing behind the man who's speaking. Pay attention to her facial expressions. Notice how she blinks far too often and widens her eyes every now and then. It just doesn't look natural, right? Something about it seems off. Is it possible that she's wearing one of these masks, or is there another explanation for her strange behavior? What do you think?
The speaker was on a hunting expedition. We spoke with him frequently. But the speaker talked to me earnestly about we're near.
This video was taken at sea by one of the fishermen aboard a fishing boat. They had made a huge catch that day, and as they were hauling the heavy net out of the water, things began to take a strange turn. The fish were thrashing wildly, almost as if they sensed something unusual. Then something truly unsettling happened. A webbed hand reached out from the net, attempting to grab one of the men who was struggling with the heavy load. The man was quick to pull back. The hand quickly retreated into the depths of the net, disappearing as quickly as it appeared. This begs the question, had they inadvertently captured a mermaid or siren? The mere thought sends chills down the spine. After all, it's not every day that one encounters something so bizarre and unexplainable. What do you think? Let's delve into a rather perplexing situation that unfolded before a vigilant observer. This gentleman found himself in the familiar setting of his car stationed outside a store, patiently awaiting the return of his friend who was shopping inside.
She's stuck in the same pattern. She's done this 5 or 6 times.
Yet, this seemingly mundane wait took a surreal turn when he noticed an unusual occurrence. In the vicinity of his car was another vehicle, its sole occupant, a mysterious woman, caught in what appeared to be a continuous and repetitive loop, extending for nearly an hour. Struck by a mixture of shock and curiosity, our protagonist made the daring decision to venture into the store and seek out this lady, hoping to free her from the grip of this peculiar trance. Remarkably, it seemed as though his efforts bore fruit. However, the story takes a rather disconcerting twist. Several hours later, the same woman reappeared, this time in the company of another lady who may be a daughter of hers, leaving the gentleman deeply perplexed. Now here lies the enigma. Was it the woman who was ensnared in a bewildering cycle, or was it the man himself who found himself trapped in an inexplicable loop, witnessing the same events unfold repeatedly? We invite you, O astute audience of ours, to share your conjectures and musings in the comments section below. Arizona is a place known for its breathtaking landscapes and, well, a fair share of intriguing tales. Now, in Mogollon, they've got quite the reputation when it comes to stories of Bigfoot sightings, so when these peculiar sounds started echoing through the area, you can bet the locals were curious. These eerie, howling sounds started in the dead of night, echoing all over the town. If you pay close attention, you'll realize that the howls are a bit deeper and more resonant than your average wolf or coyote. Knowing it couldn't be any of these dangerous predators, the people in the neighborhood started suspecting that the sound was coming from a Bigfoot. It was either Bigfoot or an animal in the area that had all of a sudden developed a knack for theatrics. While there's no way to confirm what it is, we can say with certainty that we loved this footage. What about you?
On regarde les étoiles. C'est trop beau. On n'est pas bien là. On n'est pas bien là. Is here.
These two girls were out one night in the middle of the road. They lived in a small town, and since it was pretty late, everyone was indoors, and there were no cars driving by at that time. The girls seemed to have come out to get a smoke, and their hysterical laughter suggests they might have been a bit high at the time. One of them had a camera, and the other was barefoot. They seemed to be having the time of their lives when something unexpected happened. In the dark at the end of the road, as far as they could see, they noticed something. It was a very tall, dark figure standing there staring at them. The figure then began walking toward them when the girls quickly ran away as fast as possible. The sudden shift from laughter to fear adds an unsettling twist to this late-night encounter. What do you think this figure was? Is the clip even legit, or are they simply looking for their 5 minutes of fame? Share your thoughts in the comments section. While you digest the previous clip, take a look at this. The clip starts with someone taking a walk through the woods. The journey abruptly ends when he sees this. I'm not sure what it is, but it looks like worms or intestines moving through the mud. It's not a sight you see every day, and that's definitely why the one recording stopped in his tracks. What do you make of it? This is one I would love to hear your voice on. On a seemingly ordinary day by the river, a group of young boys embarked on a swimming adventure, blissfully unaware of the eerie encounter that lay in wait. As they stood by the riverbank with one friend preparing to take the plunge into the water, the observer behind the camera lens noticed an unsettling presence. Amidst the picturesque backdrop of the tranquil river and dense woodland, a pale, emaciated figure emerged from the shadows, lurking ominously among the trees. In a tense moment, the observer alerted his half-naked friend to the unearthly entity lurking just behind them. As the unsuspected swimmer turned to confront this unexpected presence, the creature, realizing it had been discovered, makes a hasty escape into the depths of the woods.
Daí, pode ser bicho. E viu ela. De novo. Também faz xixi aí, ó. Sai daí, mano. Você me afastar, sai daí. Sai daí.
While some may argue that this could be an elaborate prank orchestrated by the boys themselves, a closer look at the creature's appearance suggests otherwise. The entity in question bears little resemblance to a human, and the genuine shock and fear etched across the swimmer's face as he laid eyes on it seemed to dispel any notion of a strange hoax. This eerie encounter leaves us with more questions than answers as we grapple with the mystery of what or who exactly lurked in the woods that day. What are your thoughts on this perplexing encounter? Share them with us in the comments section. Next, we have footage from the mysterious world of Just Ghouly Things, which is a YouTube channel dedicated to exploring all things paranormal. In this clip, they embarked on a spine-tingling adventure at the haunted Brookstown Inn in Winston-Salem. As they ventured down the inn's creaky old stairs, the unexpected happened. One of the two suddenly slipped and tumbled unceremoniously down the steps. While the fall may look ordinary, pay attention to what she says when asked if okay.
Oh my, are you okay? Are you okay? I felt like something pushed me.
Dude, no. Are you serious?
She states that something pushed her down. But what? Well, when you go poking your nose in an abandoned, creepy, and spooky place, you don't exactly hope to find Santa now, do you? Now, we all know that places don't earn the moniker haunted for no reason. It's like a big, flashing neon sign saying, prepare for some paranormal happenings. Either way, if what she says is true, then perhaps they encountered something paranormal. And if they did encounter something paranormal, then perhaps they should count themselves very lucky to have escaped with a mere push. Don't you think?
Oh my, are you okay? Are you okay? I felt like something pushed me.
No.
Just in case you didn't think that was mysterious enough, then this next one is for you.
Sorry.
The clip introduces us to a couple of fishermen offloading their catch from their fishing net. If you pay attention, however, you'll realize that the fish they're offloading is no fish at all. It looks like a mix of a human and a fish. Its upper body looks eerily human, while its lower body is fish-like, the kind of body you would attribute to a mermaid. I know what you're thinking. Mermaids, are they even real? Well, we've had a lot of evidence on this channel over the videos to suggest they do. But just like this clip, they haven't been definitive enough. If we have learned anything from the many videos we've made, however, it's that the absence of evidence of the existence of something is not evidence of its non-existence. Speaking of evidence, do you think this would count as one for the existence of merfolks? Let us know in the comments section.
Sorry. So if you, and look, all his tentacles are fully attached. Once you put that in the water, wow. I'm gonna do a nice video on that one. Holy.
A man came across this peculiar round-shaped object on the beach. Curious about what it was, he picked it up and later placed it in the water, and that's when the real surprise unfolded. As soon as the object touched the water, tiny tentacles began to unfurl and spread apart, revealing a fascinating structure. What you're looking at here is a sea organism known as porpita, commonly known as the blue button. Despite its name, the blue button isn't actually a jellyfish, though it shares some similarities. It's more closely related to the Portuguese man-o-war. But unlike its more dangerous relative, the blue button is mostly harmless to humans. Its vibrant blue color and delicate disc-shaped body make it a striking sight, both in and out of the water. The tentacles are used by the organism to catch tiny prey like plankton as it floats on the surface of the ocean.
Once you put that in the water, wow. I'm gonna do a nice video on that one.
Next, we got a woman who had a really strange conversation with her daughter. The girl started talking about the world beginning again, which was quite an unusual topic. Take a listen.
The world will begin again.
Uh-huh. What else did you say?
Other people will come on the world.
Okay.
That's what I said.
Well, what was the other part?
What other part?
About everybody dying? What were you saying?
More people will come on Earth.
Okay. Why did you think that?
Because it's what the world begins like.
Oh.
When I die,
Uh-huh.
I will come back and I'll be a baby and I'll have a different name.
Okay.
And you'll have it.
Okay.
So that's what I said.
Alright, thanks, P.
It's what I have to say, and it's sad.
Yeah, it does sound sad.
I had to say something.
Okay.
So that's why I just talked to you.
Okay, thanks, P.
You're welcome.
Okay.
girl even mentioned that she would die and come back to life as a different person, like reincarnation, and she talks about people coming on Earth. This had Aaron excited and trying to decode what she said. He wondered if they're referring to some sort of alien invasion. I know you may want to dismiss this, but this isn't the first time kids have been caught talking about these kinds of things. One commenter even stated that this girl might be an indigo child. For those unfamiliar with the term, indigo children are believed by some to be a new generation of kids with special, sometimes supernatural abilities or insights. They're often described as being highly intuitive, spiritually aware, and possessing a strong sense of purpose. What do you think, though? Are the words of this little girl worth paying attention to, or do you think a mother put her up to it? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section.
Will come on the world.
Okay.
That's what I said.
This is our old cemetery. This one has some wording on it.
This man was out on the sea when he came across a cemetery that was buried by the water. Some houses were submerged in the water as well. This eerie site, or should I say sad site, is part of the Falcon Reservoir. The Falcon Reservoir, built in 1952, lies 40 miles southeast of Laredo, Texas. When it was constructed, several communities, including their houses and cemeteries, were submerged underwater. As of June 13, 2024, Falcon Reservoir was only 9.7% full, exposing more of these submerged structures than usual. The low water levels have uncovered many graves and homes. Has any one of you lived or had a family that was close to this area? Can you share your stories or experiences?
A water well, another house, and another house.
The simulation theory has certainly sparked a lot of intriguing discussion, and every time a new piece of footage emerges, it reignites the debate in a fresh and fascinating way. This particular footage, taken during an ad break, is no exception. In the video, Montez Ford, a well-known wrestler, suddenly freezes in front of the camera. It's not just a brief moment of stillness, it's an eerie, prolonged pause that leaves everyone around him visibly confused. The people on set try to get him to move, waving their hands in front of his face, calling his name, and even a woman approaches to touch him. But nothing seems to snap him out of it. He remains perfectly still, like a statue, completely unresponsive. This bizarre incident has led to a wave of speculation online. Some people are saying that Ford isn't real, suggesting that he might be some kind of hologram or digital creation, a project of a glitch in the Matrix. Others believe that this is a genuine glitch in the simulation, where the reality we perceive had a momentary error and Ford's freezing was the result of that. On the other hand, skeptics argue that this could have been a deliberate act. Maybe Ford was playing a prank or performing some kind of performance art. Others suggest that it could be a medical issue or a hoax staged to get people talking. What do you think?
Aqui, ó. Misericórdia. Olha isso. Olha essa imagem, meus amigos.
This video, shared by a curious adventurer exploring the woods, captures an extraordinary and bizarre find. In a small, muddy water hole in the middle of the forest, he discovered an odd-looking skull partially submerged in the murky water. The skull had green, crystal-like eyes that seemed to glow with white pearls surrounding them. The rest of the skull was caked in mud, giving it an eerie, ancient appearance. When he lifted it out of the water, it was heavy, filled with the dirty water from the hole. What could this strange skull be? A relic from an ancient civilization, a piece of elaborate artwork, or something more mysterious? My money's on something more mysterious, but let me know what you think.
Então, pessoal, coloquei pra cá. Olha que sinistro isso aqui. E vai ter coisa aqui dentro. Isso aqui tá... Ó, tô falando? Olha isso aqui, já caiu aqui, ó.
Now, look at this.
'Cause what the fuck is this? Bitch just over here munching away.
A woman was enjoying her fries and chicken when she noticed a weird-looking piece of chicken. This piece was shaped like a four-legged creature with a tail and head. You don't need to be a psychic to know we're all thinking this looks like a mouse. There have been numerous instances where people have found rats and other creatures fried up with their meals, and that's a very disturbing thought. However, in this case, it could also just be a piece of chicken that's oddly shaped. But let's have some fun with this. What do you guys think we're dealing with? Wrong answers only. This next footage really put the horror in Airbnb. A man had booked an Airbnb in Dayton, Ohio. As he was exploring the house, he discovered a basement and decided to check it out, only to come across something unsettling.
Yo, I just came from my Airbnb. Went to the basement and look at this shit. Y'all, don't do Airbnb. Oh my motherfucking God.
The room was dark, with strange patterns on the walls. There was an eerie-looking bed made from an old mattress and a side table that appeared to be a rock on some rusted metal. Lit candles were placed on the table, and leaves were hanging from the ceiling over the candles, eerily swinging. Another table, also made of rocks and wood, had leaves hanging above it and a book on top. The entire setup looked like some sort of shrine. Why would someone rent out an Airbnb with such a haunting room in it? This discovery has me freaked out. I feel like I'd need to thoroughly check every part of a house before renting it because this is just not right. What would you do if you encountered something like this in an Airbnb? Also, Aaron believes this is very real. Do you? While you think about that, let's take a look at this one. We're not exactly sure where this was taken, but whoever is recording the clip appears to be before an opening to a very large facility. While the opening in itself appears to be interesting, it's not the star of the clip. If you carefully pay attention, you'll realize that there's a large, furry, humanoid creature moving in the entrance. The person recorded sees it, freaks out, and then the clip ends abruptly. I want to believe the person runs away, but it's not mentioned in the post or description. Instead, the individual is asking for help in identifying whatever that is. Some in my team have suggested it's the big guy, you know, Bigfoot. Now you've seen the clip, so what do you think? This footage is truly something that leaves you in awe. Imagine enjoying a peaceful day at the beach with your family, soaking in the sun and the sound of the waves when suddenly the unimaginable happens. This family in Peru was doing just that, having a fun and relaxing day above the shore, when out of nowhere they noticed something hovering above a nearby mountain. It wasn't just an ordinary sight. Floating above the mountain was a disc-shaped UFO, clear as day against the sky. The sight was so unexpected and surreal that the family didn't even take a moment to process what they were seeing. They immediately ran away. While some might speculate about what this object could be, whether a secret military craft, a weather balloon, or an actual extraterrestrial visitor, the family's reaction speaks volumes. These kinds of sightings continue to fuel the ongoing debate about the existence of UFOs and what they might mean for us. Are they visitors from another world, advanced technology we don't know about, or something else entirely? A man left town to spend some time alone at his cabin in a secluded area in the woods. However, he had to immediately cut his alone time short because one morning he was woken up by these eerie sounds. Listen.
What is that?
It was a loud sound that sounded quite strange and indescribable. It had this howl and sort of a grouch and screech to it. The man didn't wait any more time and left there as fast as he could. When he posted the footage, people had a lot to say about it. Some said it was a skinwalker, others said it was a dragon, and some said it was a Bigfoot. However, skeptics thought differently. One said it could be a moose, while another said that it sounded like something being played from a speaker. What do you think it is?
What in the heck?
Apart from the hidden information on aliens, there are a lot of things that we are still not being informed about. Take a look at this footage that a woman shared.
This is the reason why the police pulled us over. Oh my gosh, what is that?
She was driving down a road in Nevada when the police pulled her over to make way for a wide load. What drove by was astonishing. A huge truck carrying a large mysterious object on its trailer. The object looked like a giant bottle, but what could it be? Nevada is home to several research facilities and test ranges, and it's also close to multiple military bases, including the infamous Area 51. This means the mysterious object could be anything. It could be a secret weapon, an experimental aircraft, a missile, or even part of a space mission project. Who knows? Aaron believes it's part of an alien ship or something connected to secretive government projects involving extraterrestrial technology. If you have any idea about what it could be, share them with us in the comments below. Before the next clip, though, I'd show you this comment from the original post. It had us laughing uncontrollably. Good one, sir.
Oh my gosh, what is that?
Leave first, but one. I'm gonna get. You can. No, you'll be fine. I'm just gonna get more footage of the Sasquatch. Okay, seriously, look how big it is. It's just chilling.
This video was taken in Provo, Utah. A man was out enjoying the view over the mountain when something caught his eye. As he zoomed in on the distant mountain, what appeared on his screen was nothing short of chilling. There, standing on two legs, was a dark, towering figure that looked almost like a living shadow. The creature stood motionless, its silhouette stark against the landscape. What's even stranger is that the mountain was so far away that if it was a human, you wouldn't be able to see it at all, let alone so clearly. The figure was massive, much too large to be a person from that distance. It's hard to imagine a bear or any other animal standing on two legs perfectly still for such a long time. So what exactly are we looking at? Could this be a Bigfoot sighting, or is there something else lurking in those mountains?
Leave first, but one. I'm gonna get. You can. No, you'll be fine. I'm just gonna get more footage of the Sasquatch. Okay, seriously, look how big it is. It's just chilling.
Still on aliens, take a look at this clip that popped up online a few months ago. Could you count the legs on that thing? I counted 5 or 6, but I'm not so sure given the blurry nature of the clip. This was allegedly captured by an individual while traveling at night. Now, we don't know where the clip was taken or what the particular context is, so everything we say will basically be based on speculation. As always, I shared this clip with my team members, hoping to solicit their views, and we had two schools of thought. Julius and his team thought it was fake, while Aaron and his disciples believed this was real. If you ask me, however, I would say it could go both ways. Now, the clip is grainy and blurry, preventing any thorough analysis. Julius thinks it was intentionally made that way to prevent it from being exposed. Aaron, however, has a contradicting view. He believes the clip was spontaneously taken with a bad camera device in low light, which explains the poor quality. He argues that if the quality was any better, then we would have to doubt the clip, because no one would be carrying high-resolution cameras while traveling at night. What do you guys think? I came across this hearing test and thought I'd share it with you all. Apparently, younger people can hear higher frequencies better than older people. As we're always out there in search of the strange and mysterious, it's crucial we can hear the cryptids and paranormal entities when they come lurking. The test is simple. It involves playing a sound at increasing frequencies. As the frequency rises, it becomes more difficult for older people to hear the sound. This is due to our ability to hear high frequencies diminishing with age, a condition known as presbycusis. So let's put this to the test. Watch the video and listen to the tones. Share it in the comments at which age or frequency you stopped hearing the sound. It's fascinating to observe how our hearing changes over time and varies from person to person. Remember, there is no right or wrong answers, and everyone's hearing ability is unique. America has been at the center of many conspiracy theories, and even President Joe Biden has not escaped their reach. While some of these theories seem outlandish, others have, on occasion, turned out to be true. Take a look at this footage.
All of the tax breaks, essentially all the tax breaks.
That's moving naturally.
All of the benefits flowing to the top.
In the video, you can see President Biden talking in an interview. Now, there have been numerous discussions about the president being a robot, but this time, someone pointed out something else. Look closely at his neck. The skin color of his head and his neck are two different shades. His head looks like the male white man we know, but his neck appears darker, like a black man's. What's going on here? The facial movements seem very real, so it can't be a robot. However, some people believe this is someone wearing a real-life mask with the president. Is it possible that we're looking at a high-quality mask, or is it some sort of makeup error? Well, there's a third option. The clip is fake, but still, share your thoughts.
Including going back to the Great Depression.
Okay.
Ever.
A subscriber sent this in, and it's truly one of the most baffling things we've seen. He captured footage of a waterfall, but instead of the water cascading downwards as you'd expect, it was moving upwards, seemingly defying the laws of gravity. At first glance, you might think it's some sort of optical illusion, but the footage is clear and the water is undeniably moving in the opposite direction. This strange phenomena could have a few explanations. It might be a rare weather event where strong winds push the water upwards, or perhaps something even more unusual is at play. Regardless, seeing something so familiar behaving in such an unexpected way makes you question what other mysteries nature might be hiding. Have any of you ever witnessed something like this? I came across this footage that highlights the animals humans consume the most per year, and some of the choices might shock you. Take a look. For many, it's unsettling to see animals like horses, camels, and even cats on the list. And yes, dogs are there too. It's chilling to think about that, especially if these animals are beloved pets in some cultures. Of course, it's no surprise that chickens top the list, given their prevalence in diets around the world, but the inclusion of animals like horses and camels, which are often seen as companions or work animals, can be quite disturbing. But then again, it boils down to culture and beliefs. While some animals are considered food in certain parts of the world, they're revered or even sacred in others. Which of the animals on this list are you looking forward to trying?
These holes on this brain MRI aren't holes, they're parasites. Can you guess what it's from? This is neurocysticercosis, and it's caused from eating undercooked meats. This person ate parasitic eggs hidden in pork that then hatched all over the body, including the brain.
Now let's talk about worms, not the ones on the ground, but the ones that can infest humans. Worm infestations are more common than we realize, and some types of worms can even make their way into our brains. These parasites can be mistaken for tumors and have serious health consequences, including organ failure, blindness, and, in severe cases, death. One of the most common sources of worms is food, particularly sushi, because the fish is often uncooked. Another notorious carrier is pork. According to the World Health Organization, over 1 billion people worldwide suffer from parasitic infections. This underscores the critical importance of regular deworming. Dr. Josh Hellman, a medical doctor from Harvard, suggests that certain foods can help in deworming. These include carrots, beetroot, and pomegranates. These foods contain compounds that can help to expel parasites from the body. So everyone, it's important to deworm regularly. If you haven't done it in a while, consider this your reminder. You definitely don't want those parasites crawling up into your brain. AI has been good so far, but there are still people who are very skeptical about it, and this is why.
在给俄罗斯男看诗，只有你们中国的兄弟姐妹没抛弃我们。俄罗斯的农村真是个奇妙的地方。主食是土豆。
This is not Olga. Her name is April, and she's been living in China for 8 years. She has my voice, my face, and she speaks fluent Mandarin. And here's Natasha. She's a 31-year-old Russian woman who decided to come to China to sell and advertise Russian food.
A Ukraine YouTuber by the name of Olga Loik came across a chilling discovery. Numerous social media accounts were using an AI-generated influencer with her face and voice. Most of these platforms were Chinese accounts and some were Russian. These accounts were used for various purposes. Some were spreading propaganda, while others were making more money than Olga ever made from social media.
I then translated the videos with Google Translate and figured out the most terrifying part. The narratives my clones were voicing sounded like blatant propaganda.
Russian people will always remember. I really appreciate China. While everyone else is moving away from Russia, only China is behind the quiet support. When other countries reject Russian stuff, it's your support to help Russia meet its immediate needs. China and Russia are good neighbors. China-Russia friendship lasts forever. And then she proceeds to advertise her Russian candies, and you can actually go here and you can buy the candies that she's advertising, which is kind of crazy because, for example, I haven't made even like a $1 from YouTube at the moment. And she already uses my face. They already use my face to make a profit.
The disturbing part is there is nothing she can do about it because these entities technically own the rights to her likeness. How? When you log on to social media and accept the user agreements without reading them carefully, you might end up giving away your face and voice for free to be used by others to make money. I know you love these AI apps, but you may want to start checking their terms and conditions before you upload your images there. But what do you guys think of this situation? Should there be stricter regulations on how AI-generated content can be used, especially when it involves someone's likeness? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section. This footage shows something truly unusual, a glowing figure standing at the corner of a building captured by a local resident. But take a closer look. This isn't just any normal human figure. The entity has a distinct human-like shape, but it's glowing almost like it's emitting its own light. Who or what could this be? The eerie light it emits seems to defy the laws of nature, leaving many wonder if what we're looking at is something beyond our understanding. Some speculate that these glowing entities could be visitors from another dimension, beings that exist on a different plane of reality but occasionally slip into ours. Others suggest that this might be some form of advanced technology, perhaps a hologram or even a being made of pure energy. There are also those who believe that such entities are manifestations of spirits, their ethereal glow a sign of their presence among the living. Despite the numerous theories, one thing is certain: this isn't something you see every day. The mystery only deepens when you consider that similar sightings have been reported in various cultures around the world, often associated with sacred or haunted locations. Could this glowing figure be a guardian of some ancient secret, or is it simply an unexplained natural phenomenon? One stormy night in Mexico, as lightning flashed across the sky and rain seemed imminent, a resident decided to capture the dramatic scene on camera. As he filmed the turbulent sky, something strange appeared in the footage. A rectangular-shaped craft was seen moving steadily across the night sky. It had the sleek, angular look of a vehicle, but unlike anything you'd expect to see flying above. Last time I checked, flying cars were still in the prototype stage, so what exactly is going on here? Could this be some advanced technology we're unaware of, or perhaps an extraterrestrial craft making a rare appearance? You tell me. Two military guys were in a tree in the woods, likely engaged in some type of training, when out of nowhere, two bears came running into the area. One of the bears started to climb the tree where the men were perched. Luckily, the bear was not aggressive. It noticed the first man, looked around for a while, and perhaps was confused about why the man kept laughing. Maybe it's self-conscious, and the man's laughter affected its self-esteem, but boy, are we glad he was uninterested in the man. This encounter could have turned dangerous, but fortunately the bear's calm behavior allowed the men to avoid a potentially hazardous situation. If you must go out there to the woods, make sure you're informed and know what you may encounter there. This next one is highly controversial and has sparked endless debates online. The footage is of US President Joe Biden speaking during an event. As he raises his hands, something strange appears under the sleeve of his coat and then quickly vanishes. Take a closer look at it. Now, there's a lot of opinions all over the place on this one. Some people insist it looks like a snake or a lizard, sparkling wild theories about reptilian beings. Others have suggested it could be a rosary or some religious artifact slipping out of view. Some dismiss it entirely, claiming the footage is fake or manipulated. On the other hand, some think it's just a simple bracelet or watch, maybe even the edge of a microphone wire strangely catching the light. What do you think it could be? Speaking of alien ships, this next capture is one that's allegedly from Mars. If you pay attention to the image, you'll see that there's a humanoid creature standing and staring in the direction of the camera. If you did basic science at school, then you know that the red planet has been officially stated to be without life. Once in a while, however, images like this pop up speculating that the red planet does indeed have life on it and our governments are keeping it under wraps. The situation isn't too surprising because Mars, our captivating neighbor, has always been a source of wonder and speculation. Known as the Red Planet because of its striking reddish hue, Mars intrigues both scientists and dreamers alike. This mysterious world has its fair share of secrets, with some aspects that continue to puzzle researchers. Take water on Mars, for example. Though today's Mars is a cold, dry desert, evidence suggests that it wasn't always this way. Ancient river valleys and lake beds hint at a time when water flowed freely across the surface. This discovery is huge because it opens up the possibility that Mars might have once been warm and wet enough to support life. And then there are Mars' two moons, Phobos and Deimos, which are anything but ordinary. With their odd shapes and the fact that Phobos is slowly spiraling toward the planet, there's a lot to wonder about their origins. Mars' thin atmosphere, mostly made of carbon dioxide, adds another layer of intrigue. It's too thin to support liquid water for long, but thick enough to stir up massive dust storms. Finally, the hunt for life on Mars has been relentless. From the Viking missions in the 70s to the latest rovers, we found clues like organic molecules. But the definitive proof of life remains elusive. So yeah, I did digress, but what do you guys think? Does the planet indeed have aliens on it, or are we just seeing things that aren't there? Share your thoughts in the comments section. Here is another tragic incident that took place at an amusement park in 2011.
Oh, God, it's gonna crash! It's gonna crash! It's gonna crash! Oh my God!
A child on the Ferris wheel captured this footage. They were high up in the sky when a plane came crashing into the Ferris wheel at a rural festival in eastern Australia. The scene was chaotic and terrifying as the plane struck the Ferris wheel, leaving the children suspended high above the ground and the adults trapped inside the mangled aircraft. The collision trapped 2 children on the ride and 2 adults in the aircraft for hours. Emergency responders rushed to the scene, working tirelessly to free those trapped. The delicate operation required great care to ensure the safety of everyone involved. The children and adults were eventually rescued after several tense hours. Miraculously, there were no fatalities, but the incident left a lasting impact on everyone who witnessed it. I'm sure those 2 kids were so traumatized I don't think they'll ever go on a ride like that again. Unless, of course, they are Julius, who likes to test probabilities. Still on creatures with mechanical properties, take a look at this gecko with a sparkling tail. Normally, geckos are known for their incredible climbing abilities and sticky toe pads, not for generating sparks. The fact that the gecko appears unbothered by the sparking makes it even more intriguing. So how do you explain this? Well, there's no straightforward explanation, but we can try. One possible explanation could be a static electricity buildup. Geckos can sometimes come into contact with surfaces that generate static electricity, especially in dry environments. This doesn't, however, result in physical sparks like we're seeing from the clip. Another theory might be some sort of small electrical current from a nearby source. Perhaps the gecko brushed against a live wire or an electrical outlet, causing the sparking effect. But again, this would typically cause harm to the gecko, which doesn't seem to be the case here. Could it be a naturally occurring phenomenon that scientists have yet to discover? Or maybe this particular gecko has developed a unique adaptation that allows it to interact with electricity in a way we've never seen before? Before you come for me in the comments section, think about it. Maybe we've got a Pikachu situation on our hands. Either that, or this is some sort of animal cyborg, or the clip is simply fake. What do you think, though? What are we looking at here? It's one of the most dangerous creatures lurking in the ocean's depths, the box jellyfish. At first glance, it might seem almost ethereal with its transparent, almost ghost-like appearance, and a soft glow that gives it an angelic, otherworldly beauty. But don't let its delicate appearance fool you. This is one of the deadliest creatures in the sea. The box jellyfish is known for its venomous tentacles, which can deliver a sting potent enough to cause excruciating pain, heart failure, and in some cases, death. What makes this creature even more terrifying is its almost invisible nature. Its translucent body makes it nearly impossible to spot in the water, turning a peaceful swim into a potentially deadly encounter. Imagine being in the water and suddenly feeling a searing pain without even seeing what caused it. That's the danger of the box jellyfish, silent, unseen, and lethal. So watch out for these guys when you're out to swim. On August the 5th, 2024, near Lake Arrowhead, California, something extraordinary unfolded in the skies. A witness captured a remarkable sight, what appeared to be an unidentified aerial phenomenon silently hovering over the waters of the Southern California lake area. This glowing object was no ordinary star. It was much larger and brighter, hanging in the sky with an almost otherworldly presence. Unlike the usual twinkling stars, this UAP remained steady. There was no sound, no sudden movements, just a mysterious luminous object suspended in the sky. With no official explanation, this eerie encounter has added another layer to the ever-growing list of unexplained events that continue to baffle both skeptics and believers alike. Usually when you think of fishing, you imagine throwing your net into the water or using a line and bait to catch a fish. But this footage shows something entirely different. Here, fish are flying out of the water, almost as if they're asking you to come catch them. It's a bizarre and fascinating sight, with fish leaping high into the air seemingly without any provocation. This phenomenon could be due to several reasons. One common cause is the presence of predators beneath the water, forcing the fish to jump out in a bid to escape. Another possibility is environmental factors such as sudden changes in water temperature or oxygen levels, which might cause the fish to react in such a dramatic manner. What do you think could be causing the fish to behave this way? Stepping away from the robo-insect scenes, I've got a clip that may leave some scratching their heads. Enjoy.
Bro, I swear to God, this turkey has been, looking 10 minutes ago. Doing this all day. What is going on?
Yes, you were seeing right. That's a turkey circling a graveyard. The lady recording had been at the graveyard for 10 minutes and even came to meet the turkey there doing exactly this. That means it could have been there for hours before she arrived. But what is this turkey doing? Why that particular grave? The truth is, no one can state for sure what the issue is. That doesn't stop people from speculating, though. There are some who believe that animals can sense things that humans cannot, like spirits, entities, and even energies. They suspect that this turkey is reacting to something that we can't see. There are some who also support that it might just be random behavior, possibly influenced by the environment or even by something as simple as the shape or smell of the gravestone. Julius, however, thinks that the turkey could have seen its reflection and thought it was another turkey and gone into its territorial fight mode. Thinking about it, Julius might be right. That gravestone does have the ability to reflect its image, and turkeys have been known to act funny around cars when they see their reflection. But then again, we can't confirm this. Which of these explanations do you think really reflects what may be going on?
Looking 10 minutes ago, doing this all day, like what is going on?
While I don't recommend touching colorful creatures in the ocean, what the individual in the next clip did is also something I don't recommend at all. So, the clip opens up with someone walking along the corridors of a home. The person looks up and sees a strange being standing on one of the structures of the place. Instead of leaving and getting safely inside, the person approaches the being for a clearer view and capture. The result is a bit of video, yes, but after a few seconds, whatever it is that he or she was filming disappears and leaves him or her alone. The big question is, what if that being decided to harm or hurt the individual? How would he have escaped and been safe? Speaking of the being, what do you think we're dealing with here? When I first saw this footage, I had to do a double take. Just look at this bird swimming under the sea. It's moving so effortlessly and quickly that it almost seems too impressive to be real. For a moment, I thought this had to be some kind of fake, but then I did some research. This, my friends, is a puffin bird. Yes, the same beautiful bird we often see perched on cliffs or waddling along the shore. But they can also swim. Watching it glide through the water with such grace is truly something to behold. Who knew these little guys were such skilled swimmers? What's fascinating is the puffins are not just dabbling on the surface like many birds, they're actually diving deep, using their wings to fly underwater in search of fish. They can go as deep as 200 feet and stay underwater for up to a minute. It's like they have a whole second life beneath the waves that most of us never get to see. Amusement parks are always fun and exciting, but if you have ever watched the movie Final Destination, you might think twice before climbing on any of those rides. The idea of thrill rides can be overshadowed by the fear of something going horribly wrong. Take a look at what happened recently at an amusement park in Portland, Oregon. 28 people were stuck upside down on a ride. As they hung there, their phones and wallets fell to the ground, and some people even started throwing up due to the prolonged inversion. They were stuck in that precarious position for 30 minutes before authorities were able to safely get them down. Thankfully, there were no casualties, but the experience was undoubtedly harrowing for everyone involved. Imagine the panic and helplessness of being suspended in the air, unable to do anything but wait for rescue. Okay, I'd rather stop imagining at this point. Ever had such an experience? Share it with us in the comments section.
Bro, it's really broken.
This was recorded by a man who felt that insects he had been seeing around his home for the past few weeks were not normal. Not only did they behave abnormally, they didn't respond to the insecticides he typically uses. This got him curious, and he decided to pay closer attention to them. He ended up squashing one, and that's when reality hit him. The bugs barely had any organic matter in them. Nobody was willing to believe him, so this time he decided to lightly touch the bug and record it. What you see on your screen is the result of that adventure. As he gently taps the back of the bug, there's a click and 2 green lights light up behind the supposed insect. That's not normal, even I know that. And for the first time, Julius, our science whiz, and Aaron, our conspiracy theorist, agree. The big question now is this real? This has been the source of debate for my team members as well as the online paranormal community. Some argued it might be a lightning bug. Others thought it had to be a click beetle. While those sound like great explanations, they don't explain the green lights. What do you think we're dealing with here? Bizarre, right? When I first saw this clip, I was wondering what exactly I was looking at. In the clip, we see a young lady exploring a location that seems to have these humanoids that could pass for humans. The major disqualifying factor is those blue mechanical setups that take up space where their ears and the back of their heads should be. It gives them this robo-look coupled with the way their eyes move and their mannerisms. When I first saw this, I was convinced there was some new breed of robots powered by AI. In fact, I was so impressed by the realism that I started showing to others in my team. They shared my opinions until my video editor saw them. He laughed a bit and told me those are actually humans in costumes for a movie promo. The movie came out last year and it's titled The Creator. It's about an AI and the human race, which is why they look like that. It all made sense after that explanation, and I must say that I've added the movie to my bucket list. What I'm most thankful for is the fact that I didn't show it to Julius first. I can already hear his skeptical laugh with his disapproving gaze. You know what? Let's move on to the next clip. Next, we got a rather interesting video that was recorded by a family while out on their Sunday drive. Enjoy. Now, you don't need me to do a lot of commentary on this one because I'm guessing you already know what you're looking at. This is one of the few Bigfoot clips that the community accepts wholeheartedly as being true and real. The big guy seems to be out on his own enjoying his time in the field. He's unaware he's being filmed, which is a good thing as it allows us to enjoy its natural behavior and gait. I do wish the clip was a bit up close so we could see more of its features, but you can't always get everything you want, right? At least this clip isn't overly blurry and shaky as some of the other alleged ones are. Maybe we should send Aaron to the same area to bring us her own footage. What do you guys think? A man from Saudi Arabia was out one night exploring an abandoned house when he found pictures on the wall of a little girl. As he continued to search around the house, he began to hear noises that suggested he was not alone. He called out, hoping to get the attention of whoever might be there, but saw no one. Despite the unsettling sounds, he pressed on, still calling out as he moved toward the source of the noise. The trail led him to some stairs to the rooftop where clothes were hanging on a clothesline. As he walked by, he noticed something strange. Between the hanging clothes, he saw the pale face of a girl with pitch-black eyes. Terrified, he backed away, but when he looked again, there was no one there. Oddly enough, the face he saw resembled the girl in the picture on the wall downstairs. It seemed that he might have encountered the ghost of the girl, but how was she there? Did she perhaps die in the house, or was it an entity that had taken a form? Imagine seeing this while out on the highway with your friends. The driver of the car does not appear to be human, with that large blue head and faint blue glow around its body. The creature didn't seem to notice them as it just continued to drive off as if it was a normal day on Earth, except it was not. They could have just run into an alien. Aliens are a hot topic these days. Despite the buzz, we don't know for sure if they are already among us or if we've ever made contact. Imagine Aaron's and my surprise when we came across this footage. What do you think's going on here? A real alien casually driving around, or a cosplayer going home from one of those cons they usually organize? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. So someone sent this in stating that the helicopter you're seeing in the clip is actually releasing genetically modified mosquitoes into the neighborhood. Now, if I'm to guess where the alleged location for this is, I would say Florida, since that's a recent location where genetically modified mosquitoes are being released. Does that mean the video is legit then? Well, after a lot of research and scrutiny at our end, we don't think so. While it's true that mosquitoes are being released in Florida for a disease control program, the mosquitoes are typically packed in special containers that can be released in a controlled manner, and not helicopters like seen in the video. Some have also suggested Bill Gates is behind the initiative for his selfish reasons, but data from our research shows that Bill Gates isn't funding this project locally. Julius thinks that what we are seeing from the chopper is actually smoke that might be related to a gender reveal celebration. I'm tempted to agree with Julius on this one, but what if that's exactly what they want us to think? It's hard to trust anyone and anything these days, including your very own thoughts. This next footage appears to be one of the closest encounters with a UFO ever captured. It was taken by a passenger aboard a plane on their way to Colombia, and the sighting itself occurred in Colombia airspace. The passenger was simply recording the beautiful, expansive clouds outside the window when out of nowhere, a diamond-shaped UFO came into view, gliding through the sky. The craft's distinct shape and the way it moved left the man stunned. This sighting is remarkable not just for the proximity of the craft, but also because it occurred in broad daylight. There are countless strange and questionable things in the world, but one thing that has truly left me speechless is this particular footage. In the clip, you can see a brick house with a massive elephant inside, gradually breaking through the wall to escape. This isn't just any elephant, it's an enormous creature. As it demolishes the wall bit by bit, it becomes evident that the room it was trapped in is surprisingly small. There's no visible entry large enough for such a huge animal to have gotten inside in the first place. The big question then is, how did this creature get in there? The footage defies logic and raises intriguing possibilities. Could the elephant have been somehow teleported into the room? How else could this creature have gotten inside? Well, some commenters on the original post had funny things to say. As funny as these sound, one caught my eye. So what if, just what if? I never thought I would see the day when fish would be walking on land, but here we have 3 fish moving in a straight line crossing the road to a water nearby. This is something you'd expect to see in a cartoon, not in real life, so what's going on here? One commenter said it was because of evolution, which is a rather interesting and slightly disturbing take. Another commenter, however, shared that this is a feature of a fish called the climbing perch. The climbing perch is known for its ability to survive out of water for extended periods and move across land using its gills and fins, so nothing to see here. Just a family of climbing perch out on a walk.
Hey, big storm last night, Destin, Florida. These sharks' teeth are everywhere. Look, there's one. There's another one too. They're everywhere, man. Everywhere.
Recently, a storm hit Destin, Florida, and after the storm passed, a man was seen collecting these giant black objects from a puddle of water. They looked like enormous teeth, much bigger than his own head. Naturally, this raised a lot of questions. If these are indeed teeth, then the creature they came from must have been colossal. But the real mystery is whether these teeth belong to some massive creature still living in the waters, or if the storm simply washed in ancient remains from the deep sea or a long-forgotten time. Some speculate that these teeth could be from a prehistoric creature like a MacLeod, whose remnants may have been unearthed by the storm's fury. The size of these teeth suggests something massive and ancient, leaving many wondering if the waters around Florida are hiding more secrets than we know.
These shark's teeth are everywhere. Look, there's one. There's another one too. They're everywhere, man.
And with that, we end today's episode. Thank you for staying with us. Before you go, are there clips and videos you think we should have featured by now that we haven't? Well, the good news is you can share them with us, and we will post them crediting you. Please send any such footage, including ones you recorded yourself, to us by classifiedcaptures@gmail.com. We'll do our thing and include it in our next episode. We can't wait to receive what you have. Share this video with someone you love, and I will see you in the next one.